Her Royal Highness's Wedding 2025, Princess Leonor marries HRH Christian, live from Denmark. It began like every royal wedding before it, the grand carriages, the golden trumpets, the glistening palace steps. But this one was different. Because as the clock struck noon in Copenhagen, the world wasn't just watching a royal wedding, it was witnessing history being rewritten. Princess Leonor of Spain, Her Royal Highness and future queen, arrived not as the shy, soft-spoken girl the world once knew, but as a woman who had captured the heart of another royal heir, Prince Christian of Denmark. And as she stepped out of her carriage, draped in a gown shimmering like morning light, the crowd fell completely silent. Step 1. The expectation was simple, another royal ceremony, beautiful but predictable. Step 2. The shock, Leonor's presence, her aura, her confidence, it shattered every expectation. And step 3. The contrarian twist, this wasn't just a royal marriage. It was the fusion of two future monarchies, two hearts, and two nations standing side by side in a moment no one saw coming. Spain was watching. Denmark was celebrating. And the entire world was talking. As the Danish royal guards formed their flawless rows outside Copenhagen Cathedral, the air itself seemed to hold its breath. The cathedral bells rang out in harmony, echoing through the old streets of the city. Inside, beneath chandeliers glinting with centuries of history, awaited Prince Christian, steady, elegant, and visibly emotional. He had grown up surrounded by royal protocol, but today, nothing could prepare him for the sight of Leonor walking toward him. The doors opened. The music swelled. And there she was, radiant, poised, yet deeply human. Her veil shimmered like mist, her gown flowing in a design that perfectly blended Spanish passion with Danish simplicity. The crowd stood, the orchestra paused for just a second too long, and even the most stoic faces trembled. Spain watched from every screen, every plaza, every cafe. The streets were quiet, yet alive. Because for Spain, this wasn't just their princess getting married, it was their future queen stepping into destiny. In that moment, you could feel it, the weight of centuries behind her, the hopes of a nation before her. As she reached the altar, Christian took her hand. A subtle gesture, but one that said everything: partnership, respect, and a bond that neither crown could separate. The priest's words blended languages, Danish and Spanish intertwining just as their lives would. And when the vows began, Leonor's voice, calm yet trembling with emotion, echoed through the cathedral. I promise to walk beside you, not behind you. To carry love where duty asks for strength. It was a line that shook hearts across Europe. In Madrid, Queen Letizia was seen wiping away tears. King Felipe, usually composed, bowed his head, pride and melancholy crossing his face in equal measure. For them, this was both a farewell and a triumph. Their daughter, once a child playing in palace courtyards, now standing as an equal among the world's royals. But what no one expected came after the I do. As the ceremony ended and the organ began to play, Leonor and Christian turned toward the crowd, but instead of walking straight down the aisle, Leonor paused. She looked out across the cathedral and raised her eyes to the balcony where both families sat. Then, softly but clearly, she said in Spanish, Por España y por Dinamarca, con amor y honor. For Spain and for Denmark, with love and honor. That line, caught live on every broadcast, sent shivers down spines across continents. Within seconds, social media in Spain erupted. Leonor just made history, wrote one journalist. This is how a queen is born. Outside, as the newlyweds stepped into the Danish sunlight, the sound of cheers filled the air. The royal couple waved, their hands intertwined, while rose petals fluttered from the balconies above. The city had transformed into a sea of flags, red and yellow for Spain, red and white for Denmark. Two nations, one love story. The carriage ride through Copenhagen was like something out of a movie. Crowds pressed against the barriers, phones raised, tears streaming down faces. Children waved miniature flags, elderly couples clasped hands, and the world watched through the lens of awe. But behind the celebration, something deeper stirred. Royal experts whispered about what this meant, for Spain's future, for the monarchy's balance, and for the centuries-old traditions that Leonor had just redefined. Because for the first time in Spanish royal history, a future queen had married another heir apparent, forming a potential alliance that could one day unite two powerful European thrones in influence and legacy. At the wedding banquet later that evening, beneath golden chandeliers and royal insignias, speeches flowed like fine wine. King Philippe's toast was simple but powerful. Today, Spain does not lose a daughter. It gains a family. Queen Margrethe of Denmark smiled warmly, her voice proud as she said, "In this union, our homes are not divided, they are doubled." Leonor's speech, however, was the one that captivated every listener. She spoke not as a royal, but as a young woman who had lived under the world's gaze. "I have learned that duty can feel heavy," she said, "but when shared with love, it becomes purpose." Christian